Well, howdy do, man. I had a great week. My wife and I have been on vacation this week, and we spent the first part of it in Little Rock, Arkansas, and just had a heck of a time. On the way back, I picked up some beer there, obviously, but on the way back, I picked up some beer as well. And here I have a Schaefer Light. And I found this at a store on the way home, and I have a specific reason why I picked this up. It was the only say bargain brand beer that they had that I can't get here, but I do have a reason why I picked it up that I'll get to later. But I want to talk about a couple other things first. Every time I do a video for a beer like this, excuse me, two things inevitably happen. One, some craft beer drinker gets his panties in a wad that I'm even stooping to drink a beer like this, and two, some macro drinker gets some 30-pack drinker gets his panties in a wad because I didn't spout the virtues and say how wonderful a beer like this is. And you get hammered from either side. You just do. You know, I'm 49 years old, y'all. So growing up, there wasn't craft beer. There was just beer. You started drinking beer. My first beer wasn't Olympia, because that's what my dad drank. And then you start buying other stuff. When you started seeing microbreweries pop up in the 80s, well, I gravitated towards them because I liked everything that I had from them. But you still drank a lot of what is now called macros. Back then, we just called them beer because that's what was available. But it seems like ever since the term craft beer became widely used by craft beer drinkers, it seems that beer drinkers have split off into factions. You know, you have those that will drink the 30 packs, and then you have the craft beer drinkers, and the two just aren't going to like each other ever. You know, it's a damn shame. You know, we don't. Here's the problem: a craft beer drinker doesn't necessarily need to convert a macro drinker or a 30-pack drinker. A 30-pack drinker doesn't need to convert a craft beer drinker. But it doesn't mean they can't get along. We shouldn't have to hurl insults at each other because we enjoy different things for different reasons. And that's the part that irritates me is the ignorance on the side of the macros that think, well, why would you drink this high-dollar beer? We have this beer here. And then the pretension on the craft beer side, well, this is a much more quality beer, man. Why doesn't everybody just drink it? You know, there are merits to both arguments if it's presented in the right way, which neither side typically do. There is a small faction, a very small faction, of folks that appreciate both beers for different reasons. I'm not really one of those, in all honesty, but I do buy these beers every once in a while for nostalgia, which brings me to where I started was Schaefer. Well, son of a gun, I hate when that happens. Darn it, man. Schaefer. As a young man, when I was 20 and then I turned 21, one of my mentors when I first started cleaning carpets in Southern California was a man named Dennis Smart, who was in his 40s at the time. Dennis was just a great guy, and he really showed me the ropes, showed me how to clean carpets, showed me how to make the sales. He was just an amazing guy. But we also did a fair amount of drinking together. And Dennis bought a lot of Schaefer at the time. Now, when I found this store that had the Schaefer Light, I asked them if they had regular Schaefer. They did not, but they carry the Schaefer Light on a regular basis. So I bought a 12-pack for the nostalgia. Now, personally for me, when I buy a beer like this, it is for nostalgia. It just is. I don't think these are wonderful beers. I don't. And I know that saying that, I'm going to get some 30-pack drinker leaving a nasty comment on my video because it always happens. Now, the part they always seem to miss, and they always seem to listen to one line and say, oh, you're being pretentious, without watching the whole video. Listen, if these are beers you like, drink them. You know, for me, you can say you can say this. You can say what I prefer to eat are hand trimmed, fresh ground hamburgers. That's what I like. But every now and again, I can appreciate, you know, a Big Mac. Okay, or a Whopper, whichever. What you can't say is the Big Mac and the Whopper are every bit the same quality as da-da-da-da. You know, you can't say that. And that's kind of the problem, is that it seems these many 30-pack drinkers want you to admit that these beers are just as good as a craft beer, or the comment I always get is high dollar beers. You got to pay more for quality, right? Filet mignon is much more expensive than ground beef, and there's a reason for that. You know, it's just that simple. But there's nothing wrong with saying I enjoy a beer like this, but, and that seems to be the problem on both sides of that equation. These beers aren't the same quality as a craft beer. They're not. And I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm not insulting Schaefer Light. I'm not insulting 30-pack drinkers, but they're not the same quality. But there's nothing wrong with saying you enjoy a beer like this. There's nothing, and that's the problem I have with craft beer drinkers, is you see beer, you know, you always see it here, whenever you see a beer like this posted, there's always, from a craft beer drinker, there's always a negative comment, you know, horse piss or this or that. Listen, we all, whichever side of the beer fence we're on, have the right to enjoy either for either reason. I just don't understand why there has to be all the damn insults coming from either side. So there you go. I ran this a hell of a lot longer than I wanted to, and I'm bound to get some negative comments from both sides. Yeah, that's craft beer drinkers get their panties in a wad, because I'm here drinking a beer, and I'm not saying it's the worst thing I've ever had. But macro drinkers get pissed at me because I'm drinking the beer, and I'm not saying it's the best I ever had. The honest truth is, I'm drinking this beer, and it's not the worst I've ever had. I'm drinking this beer because it's nostalgia. It means something to me. I do have a semi-warm day here, and it actually does feel pretty good. I'm kind of using it as a palate cleanser because I just had a great big beer before this. But anyway, so, you know, I just don't understand the negativity on either side. It just drives me freaking bonkers why we can't all just say, hey, let's just have a beer and talk to each other. I'll talk to the guy drinking a bud next to me. I don't give a rat's ass. He shouldn't be fine. He should be fine talking to me. You know, we don't have to insult each other because we don't share the same taste. You know, the same, you know, if I'm sitting next to a guy that's a vegan and I'm having a steak, we don't have to hate each other. We don't have to agree, but we don't have to hate either. It just drives me fucking batshit crazy. Oh, yeah, excuse me. There, this one's working, and that's how you know you're drinking our man's beer, damn it. So anyway, that's my beer rant. That's sure to piss off everybody on both sides. So there you go. I'm the Beer Whisperer. I'll see you later.